Josh Allen, James Cook, and the Buffalo Bills head to Foxborough to take on Drake Maye, Travion Henderson, and the New England Patriots in a pivotal AFC East clash. Believe it or not, the New England Patriots can clinch the first spot in the NFL playoffs with a win at home against Buffalo. They would clinch the division because that would be their second win against the Buffalo Bills with only 3 games left. They would have a 3-game lead. Now, Buffalo can still close the gap with New England, but they would have to make up 3 games, down by 2 games with 4 games left. And because of the loss to the Miami Dolphins earlier in the year, they would need to finish a full game ahead of New England in order to win the division. Now, it seems unlikely because New England has a pretty easy schedule, still play the Dolphins and the Jets, but you never know. They've got a tough matchup with the Ravens, and Buffalo is going to be potentially playing this team again in the playoffs. So a huge matchup here, a chance for us to get a good look at these teams. When we saw them play over 2 months ago on that Sunday night, that's where everything changed. This was a New England Patriot team that was coming into that one with a lot of unknowns about them on the year. They were 2-2, Buffalo 3-1, and then after that one, it immediately put the New England Patriots in a position where the division looked fully up for grabs. New England has not lost a game since they were 1-2 and that loss to Pittsburgh. They stay hot on this winning streak. In Buffalo, to be honest, they've been a little bit streaky. They've been a lot of semblance to a roller coaster this year. A couple of weeks ago, they had a putrid offensive performance against the Houston Texans. That game was wrecked. But then the last 2 weeks, they put together 2 of the most complete games of anybody on the offensive side of the football. Against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they ran the ball down their throats on the road in Heinz Field. Now, last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, that was arguably the most full, complete performance of anybody on the offensive side of the ball against Cincinnati. Josh Allen, perfect. 22 of 28. 3 touchdowns, 251, and then on the ground, he's able to put up another 78 yards, a touchdown. They finished with a $183 on the ground, over 6 yards a carry. The Cincinnati Bengals were in position there. They had the lead, and then the pick 6 that Joe Burrow throws, probably the most exciting play of the entire season for Buffalo, because they don't like Joe Burrow. You guys don't like the Cincinnati Bengals. This team knocked you out of the postseason a couple of years ago in Buffalo at Orchard Park. So to be able to essentially end the season for Cincinnati, shut down all of that playoff talk that was thrown around with the Bengals, all of that ends. It was pretty obvious, I think, to a lot of us that the attack was simple. Run the football against Cincinnati, one of the worst run defenses in the league. They've been awful on defense altogether, but Joe Burrow was moving the ball down the field, and I do believe that that will be a key part of this attack from New England in this matchup here. Having this game at home, again, home field advantage at this part of the season. Both of these teams play in cold weather, so the cold won't really affect this one. You could see it even with the Bengals last week. They weren't affected by the snow all that much, and frankly, that divisional loss that Buffalo had to Cincinnati a few years ago was, that rematch of the Damar Hamlin game that obviously, unfortunately, got canceled for the rest, and it was suspended, and they never wound up playing it, so fully canceled off the schedule. They played in the divisional round, there's snow, and Cincinnati just took it to them. So the elements will not be a factor. What will be is Drake Maye, his legs, and his right arm. He was 22 of 30, 273 yards. No turnovers against the Bills in that Sunday night matchup in Week 5. And that's really significant because that was the game where it was like, wow, Drake Maye now, he's coming into his own. Like, he went toe-to-toe with Josh Allen. Allen had a key interception, a pivotal turnover in that game, and Drake Maye didn't. Drake Maye outplayed Josh Allen, and that was the story of the evening, that have the New England Patriots arrived, and certainly right now they have. They are a clear Super Bowl contender in the running for the number 1 seed in the AFC. They got to keep pace with the Denver Broncos. It feels like the Broncos and what that schedule holds for them. They've got a game against the Packers this week. They've got the Chargers at the end of the season. They still play the Chiefs. So there's losable games for Denver on that schedule. New England's just got to win probably both of these, you'd imagine, have to finish the year maybe 15-2 to get that first round bye. I don't know if Denver loses. It's possible Denver loses too. So it's tough to know in that running for the first round bye, which is clearly quite important because of the injuries. Now, we got to get into those injuries and the availability of players. Will Campbell hasn't been available, IR for him. He's been a monster left tackle for the Patriots this year. Milton Williams, who I was saying was arguably their best defensive player on that defense, losing him, that really hurts New England. Right there in the middle, that run stuffer, a guy that could also get after the quarterback on that Eagles Super Bowl team a year ago. And on the Buffalo side, Tyler Bass, their kicker, in these types of games, if they're tight scoring and it's close late in the game, having your kicker not there, that's clearly a disadvantage. And then also there's some news that Ed Oliver, the star defensive tackle and one of the best players on this team, he went down really early in the season, week 1, and he could be back for the playoffs. Now, they got to get there, got to get to the postseason. Clearly, it looks like that's where they're trending, and they'll be in the NFL playoffs. So the injury with Daniel Jones and the Colts, it does feel like you've got 7 teams currently, call it 8, with the Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers. Somebody will win that division, and the other team most likely will be left out of the playoffs. But the other sense of the Texans and the Chargers and teams like the Jaguars, that playoff field, you're down to about 8 teams left competing for spots right now. But for the Buffalo Bills, it's a lot to do, in my opinion, in the back end. I feel like the Jordan Poyer addition has been crucial for them, bringing in a guy that's been a piece of that back end of the secondary for years, and then he leaves, comes back, and you've got him back there. And then Tre'Davious White. It's the same names. Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Matt Milano, all these players that have been cornerstones of the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott brings back Tre'Davious White, brings back Jordan Poyer, makes a guy like me smile, because I grew up on watching defensive football, rooting for low scoring, those tight games, turnovers, takeaways, sacks, field position with punts, and having these types of guys back, impact players, and seeing them immediately flourish there in that Buffalo Bills defense. Not fully to the impact of what they were a few years ago. Tre'Davious White was arguably the best corner in the league a few seasons ago, and Jordan Poyer was an all-pro, but they're still playing well. And then Deon Walker, Maxwell Hairston, you've got a bit of the meshing of the old with the new. The rookie out of Kentucky, Deon Walker, the big run stuffer there in the middle, and then Maxwell Hairston, the lengthy, speedy guy on the outside. That speed that he possesses. They took the 2 kids out of Kentucky, and that was the key part of the draft for Buffalo, him being a first-round pick, and he's coming into his own. He can run with anybody. I've had a lot of fun watching him play and develop this year. And then the other rookie, TJ Sanders, him plugging in the middle, that second-round pick out of South Carolina. So those SEC defenders, it was all put on that side. I know there were talks about should Buffalo go with a wide receiver threat in the draft. They go all defense, and they certainly need it. This offense has looked like they don't need another weapon. They're fine on offense, but it's about, can we limit team scoring? That's where my question is. I got no questions about whether Buffalo can put up 31 points against New England. The question is, could they hold the Patriots to less than 30? Could they win this game 31-29? And my answer is I don't really know. I don't quite think so. I believe that this New England Patriot team has the firepower to score 33, 34 points, and that's where I'm trending. Despite a bit of cold weather elements having a factor in this game, I'm looking for high scoring. In the first matchup earlier in the year, Sunday Night Football, it was 23-20 defensive battle for a lot of that game. It was 6-3 at halftime, and the points opened up a bit more in the second half. I think of what we saw in the second half, both of these teams have an idea of the way they want to attack the other in Mike Vrabel's system, and then when you look at the other side of the football at Sean McDermott, his defense, I'm thinking points. And these are two offenses that to me are too high powered to be limited by these defenses. You're looking at 29 points a game from Buffalo. That's 5th in the NFL. The Patriots, 27 points a game. That's 7th in the league. These teams run the football efficiently. 384 for yards a game for Buffalo. That's 2nd in the league, and they're the number 1 rushing team in the league, right ahead of the Chicago Bears. And the New England Patriots, well, they're 8th in yards a game with 363. And I have a hard time feeling like the secondary for the Patriots can keep up with Josh Allen and his weapons. They have shown that they are good enough that the tight ends, them fully available and healthy, that this is the best tight end room in the NFL with Dawson, Knox, and Dalton, Kincaid, and then Gabe Davis back healthy, Khalil Shakir, and Keon Coleman. He's still dangerous. Up and down second-year guy. The expectation was for him to be the full, true wide receiver 1. He's got that capability, but it's like every 3 games, he's got 1 really good game, he's got 1 bad game, and then a 1 okay game. That's sort of the way it's been with Keon Coleman. I know Buffalo fans will agree with that. I know a couple of Buffalo fans. And that's what it's been, a bit of a roller coaster ride for Keon Coleman. Big body, physical receiver. You'll see him matched up. Christian Gonzalez for the New England Patriots. He's been one of the better players at the position. Christian Gonzalez, Carlton Davis matched against Keon Coleman. Which guy are they looking for the matchup-wise? Is it Keon Coleman and Christian Gonzalez that they feel a lot of confidence with? Gonzalez is a no-doubt top 5 cornerback in the league. And then Carlton Davis, Super Bowl champion with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He loves man coverage and bumping and running with you down the field. It's going to be a true game of matchups. Are you moving guys around to try and find it? Harold Landry, with the injury a few weeks ago, him being healthier, a really key part of this New England Patriot defense and getting after the quarterback. These have been 2 pretty good offensive lines. And the first matchup of the year, the Patriots couldn't protect Drake Maye great. He got sacked 4 times, but he still was able to be really efficient, getting the ball out of his hands. And all of us were impressed at his accuracy, the lack of the bad play, throwing the ball away when necessary, using his legs to evade pressure and scramble to go get a few yards when necessary. This time of year, the quarterback run is a hidden weapon. It's not so much hidden with Josh Allen. Every game, it doesn't matter at any time, he'll risk it all to go get a first down, to sacrifice his body, put it on the line to barrel into the end zone for a touchdown, especially in late November, December, and January football. But for Drake Maye, he's been a lot more conservative with his legs. He hasn't needed to. He's a pocket passer, traditional guy. Sit back there, deliver the ball on time, accurately, and let's go. Move the sticks. He's got the weapons to do that. And what fascinates me is the utilization of these running backs. For that game on Sunday night, TreVeyon Henderson was a known commodity for those who watched him at Ohio State. But at the NFL level, he didn't quite come along yet. Now, at this part of the year, TreVeyon Henderson is one of the more explosive players, one of the more talked about guys for New England Patriot fans because of that top-end ability. Quiet game against the Giants, 6 yards a carry, 67 yards. He had 3 catches to add to that for 20. Quiet game, and he's got 86 total yards. That's a quiet game now for TreVeyon Henderson in this offense. And you balance TreVeyon with Ramondre Stevenson, they really have something working now at running back. Whereas Buffalo, this is the James Cook show. This is James Cook, his running style. This offense, he's going to get the football 18, 19, 20 times, and they're going to keep it with him. And then you pair that with Josh Allen, it's going to give you 50, 60 yards on the ground every game. And he's going to be a weapon in the red zone with his legs. It creates such a dangerous red zone offense to defend because of Josh Allen's legs down there. The size, Coleman, Shakir, Kincaid, Knox. They have players, especially in Knox, Kincaid, and Coleman, that can go up, high point the football, contested catch, win 50-50 battles, and and win them consistently in order to score down there in the red zone. So my initial thoughts are a tight football game. Hard to see New England strutting out there once again like they have throughout the year with 5, 6 just full complete wins. And you go through them really quickly here. The win against the Giants, complete win Monday night. What they did against the New York Jets, fully complete. Game was not a second in doubt. The Browns blew them out. The Titans blew them out. The Panthers blew them out. So they've got 5 complete wins this season where they were just simply not in doubt. Middle stages of the second quarter or of that second half, you're like, this game's over. New England Patriots have it. Whereas Buffalo, it's been a lot tighter football games, and they've struggled to be able to put teams away. I don't think anyone's going to say that the Cincinnati Bengal game was not in doubt. That's a tight game, 5 minutes left. Pittsburgh Steelers, on the other hand, they were trailing at halftime. It's not like that's a full, complete game. Overall, in the grand sense, it was. It wasn't tight in the fourth quarter. They had it. I believe you know what I'm saying here. Buffalo, it's been a bit more of a slugfest. There's random losses to a team like the Atlanta Falcons, a loss to the Miami Dolphins on the road, and you start picking apart on what they've been this year, and it's been a team that's been overall very good. Top end, you've got the MVP, and then a defense that does get stops, that can get pressure on the quarterback, but what they are is not what we've seen as a defense in the past. And the Patriots will be the first people to tell you that it's not enough sacks. 27 sacks on the year. The Bills with 28 sacks on the year. That's one of the key statistics I'm looking at. Pressure on the quarterback, getting the quarterback on the ground. When looking at this game, Josh Allen's going to have time to throw. There's no Milton Williams in the middle there as a disruptor. The run game will likely be available. And for the other side of that, New England Patriots, Drake Maye, there's no Ed Oliver that you really have to be worried about. No one's had to worry about Ed Oliver throughout the entire season, except Baltimore week 1 for the Ravens. So I'm expecting high scoring. I think this is a 34-31 game that is one that the Buffalo Bills could pull out at the end. I'm just going to compare the quarterbacks. Look, Drake Maye has been the better quarterback this season overall, but when it comes down to it, a big third down late in the game, and you need a first down, and you got to go scramble and get those hard yards, I'm going to trust Josh Allen to go get it, to go get those yards, and Drake Maye to have a conversation about Patriots, Bills. It just makes someone like me really happy because this has never been a rivalry. This has never been a matchup. You go back to the Mac Jones Patriots versus the Bills Patriots, 4 years ago? That was a blowout. The game had no chance. Buffalo had what? They scored 6 of their 7 possessions. It was just utter dominance. And then when the Patriots were good in their 20-year reign, they never had to deal with a good Buffalo Bill football team. The Bills never had a threat to them. Now, New England Patriots fans will remember losing to the Mike Vrabel-led Tennessee Titans in the wild card game at home, scored a touchdown early, and then the Titans just sort of hung in there, kept it close, and they got upset, and that was Tom Brady's last game as New England Patriots. So Mike Vrabel does have something up his sleeve. He's had it at moments. He can get into the playoffs, and the man is dangerous. He knows how to scheme up a tight one-score game, fourth quarter with a lot of teams, and frankly, this is one of the better coaches in the NFL already. Great fit with New England. I like the Buffalo Bills, though, to win this game 34-31. I'm going to ride on Josh Allen and this team coming up in the moments. I still, for Drake Maye, would love to see it in a game like this. If Drake Maye can go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen and beat him in this game, I believe that that's the ultimate indicator that he's clearly top 5 quarterback in the league at this stage. You know, Jaden Daniels was in that conversation last year, top 5 quarterback in the NFL, almost putting himself in the MVP conversation. Drake Maye is playing better at quarterback this season than what Jaden Daniels did. And I'm going to say that again. 23 touchdowns and 6 picks, 3,400 yards. And he's been sacked 40 times. He's been gotten after a little bit this year. They got to protect him a little bit better. The offensive line uh, they're giving up over 3 sacks a game. Drake Maye, he's dealing with that pressure and still can deliver the football down the field. They've got several weapons: Diggs, Henry, Booty, Hollins, Douglas. They've got 5 legitimate guys. There's no true number one threat. Diggs on the outside, probably Henry down on the end line. But besides that, you need a first down to Douglas, go to Hollins, give it in a dump off to Henderson or Stevenson. Legitimately, there's 7 or 8 guys any given Sunday that can be a weapon in this New England Patriot offense. They're versatile. They can run the football really well now if they have to come up with an answer. The run game's stalling out. Drake Maye, third down. Can he deliver on 3rd and 11? He absolutely can. Can it be to a tight end? Can it be to an outside threat? They've got the answers. If the pass game is stalling a little bit, they can't get momentum, they can run the football. They've got Travion Henderson that can go get you 6 carries for 41 yards on a drive. In the same way for the Buffalo Bills, they have answers. That's what really excites you about this game. Both of these teams possess an ability to get key stops in big moments, as well as the offense can pick up first downs, keep drives alive, score touchdowns when they need to. If they're put up against the wall, that's what fascinates me. Who's going to be able to pull it out at the end with the Buffalo Bills in this number one running game? I think the key is keeping the ball away from Drake Maye. I know it's wild to say about a second-year quarterback, about a guy that was put probably behind Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, and now there's no doubt it's Drake Maye, and it's probably Jaden Daniels, and then Caleb Williams number 3, and then the other quarterbacks you still have to see, with Penix and McCarthy. Bo Nix, Caleb, probably maybe even people would put Bo Nix ahead of Caleb Williams or ahead of Jaden, but it's those 3 guys are all in a conversation. You probably have to wait to see the way that the year plays out, or that the third year plays out. Maybe we're talking about Caleb Williams as a guy that materializes to be one of the better quarterbacks. But there's no doubt that quarterback class, those top 4 are ballers. They're going to be a key piece of those 4 teams for a long time. Hopefully, though, Jaden Daniels in the long-term sense can stay healthy, because that's probably the only concern. Drake Maye is a big, physical, thick guy. Caleb Williams, who is lower half, he's always been healthy. Same story with Bo Nix. He had the most career starts of any quarterback in college history until Dylan Gabriel breaks that record the next year. So he's always been available for him, and that's the key part of it. Drake Maye's been available. He did it in college and now at the NFL level. The Buffalo Bills, on the other hand, this is a tall task. They've been one of the best teams in the AFC for a while. Definitely the second best team in the AFC the last 5 years. 4 losses to the Kansas City Chiefs, but with the Chiefs not making the playoffs this season, that won't be happening. There's just too many teams in front of them, like a loss to Buffalo, a loss to Houston, a loss to Jacksonville. They got beat by the Broncos, so there's not really a path for them to get ahead of the Chargers in the AFC West. So they won't make the postseason. There's too many losses against teams that already beat them. So if it came to a tiebreaker, that won't kind of happen. The same way that Buffalo, even if they do win this game, New England, all the Patriots would have to do is win 2 of their next 3 games. And even if the Bills won their next 3, still, in the way that the schedule finishes out, the Patriots finished 13-4, and the Bills were 13-4. The division would go to the Patriots because of that loss to Miami. Wind up costing maybe a first-round bye, or potentially the division and home games in the playoffs. So I'm going to go Bills 31, Bills 34, Patriots 31, but the Patriots ultimately, I do believe, will wind up winning that division. Got to go with my guy, Josh Allen. I appreciate you so much for watching this Blitz with Blender video. I'm Josh Blender. If you have not already, guys, please subscribe for more content in the future. I'm making NFL college content weekly, getting you set and ready. The college football playoff is coming in next week. We got that Texas A&M Miami matchup from College Station. There's Oklahoma, Alabama this week. All of these great matchups next week. Did a couple of games on Saturday at the same time as the college football playoff. That's going to be a heck of a Saturday. And then, no doubt, the finish to the NFL season before the NFL playoffs get started in about a month. So the best time of year is here. The holiday season big time playoff football, college, NFL. I'm getting you set and ready for all of it. So make sure to subscribe. Comment down below whether you agree, disagree, who you think wins this game. Appreciate all of you guys so much for watching, and I'll see all of you next time. Thank you. Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder, hi everybody, I'm Josh Blunder. To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa to the 20.